Alrighty, so what do we got here? As I alluded to in the previous video, we got a very heavy box delivered here to the homestead, and it is my Stahl steel 3-inch wheel spacers for the 2025. Now these wheel spacers are labeled Stahl, but are sold through Bora wheel spacers. And if you hang out to the end of the video, I'm going to give you a tip on how you can save some money when you're buying these. You know me, guys. No discount code, does not affiliate. I just found a little hack where you could save a couple bucks. So stick to the end, and I'll share that with you. So we've all been conditioned, and we know if you own one of these tractors, is that they are tippy. It's not a phrase that I would use popularly, but Good Works Tractor says it in every video, and perhaps it's now part of my forever lexicon, because now I just say it all the time. So thanks, Courtney. Thanks for that. So on my 2025, one of the first things I did, I mean, really early on, I went and got the tires filled, and now I'm going to take the final step in throwing some wheel spacers on. Now, for the folks who are interested in getting wheel spacers, I did go with steel. So this step you see me doing here of prepping for paint is not necessary. The aluminum ones come anodized, so you won't have to worry about this. So it really would be a bolt-on. In my case, I wanted to, if I'm spending the money anyway, I wanted the extra weight, and that's why I went with the steel. The steel spacers are about 20 pounds a piece. Now I couldn't find, if someone wants to help me out in the comments, I couldn't find how much the aluminum ones weigh, but these weigh about 20 pounds a piece. And we all know the more weight we have in the rear end, the better. So I figured in for a penny, in for a pound, step it up and go with the steel. So in order to prevent corrosion, you have to paint the unmating surfaces or unmated surfaces of the steel ones. So it's a nice late afternoon project to just clean them up, get them taped off, and start spraying them down. At this point, you've seen me mask them off and then wipe them down with some of the bum juice just to get some of any oils or anything else from the manufacturing process. And here I'm just spraying them down with some Rust-Oleum bare metal primer. We used this on the thumb. I used this on the thumb, so it worked out. I know that it works out really well. This is just leftovers from when I built the thumb. I'm cleaning off the surfaces here that I don't want paint on, and I think it came out really well. Thanks for doing all the heavy lifting voice over me. Got our first coat of primer on. Gonna check it in about an hour or so. Looks like I got pretty good coverage. We'll check for any blank spots, and then we'll throw the JD green on. That's actually works out really well because it gives me time to put the hoe on, and that's gonna make jacking up the rear end a lot easier than just jacking it up with the jack. So I've got time to kill. I'm gonna go put the hoe on. I'll bring you back in a minute. Good morning, welcome back. This wasn't supposed to be a 2-day project, and it really isn't a 2-day project, but two things happened. One, you know, there's other channels out there like the Morgans and Wrangler Star, and they'll give you like a weather update, like, oh, beautiful day out here. I can't do that because nobody knows how to forecast the weather here in the DMV. I was out here painting, you guys were with me, and it started raining. And it rained for the entire day. Check the forecast. Wasn't supposed to rain yesterday. I would have never started. I had to wrap everything up, get it all inside, bring it back out today. I am moving kind of slow today because I'm having my biannual reminder that I'm not 22 anymore, and there was a little too much St. Patrick's Day yesterday, so please keep the volume down, please. That's all I ask. So let's get this thing wrapped up. Let's get done with it. All right, just cleaning up this mating surface here. So I asked the boys of the internet, the folks who have walked the path before I have, because this was my big question on this entire process. I mean, as far as installation goes, let's face it, it's just bolt on and walk away. The dissimilar metal, is this aluminum? I don't know. It doesn't sound like aluminum. Anyway, between this surface and the surface of the spacer, what did you guys use? There's nothing in the instructions in regards to what you would do here. So I asked other people, and they all said the same thing. I don't know.
which wasn't very helpful. One person did say and kind of confirm what I was thinking was a thin layer of anti-seize on here so that I could take the spacers off if I needed to. But, you know, I thought about that. I think it would still be a good play. I just don't like anti-seize, so I think I'm just going to do some CRC on here, the rust inhibitor, and put that on, and then like I'll probably check it in like a year, and if I notice anything worse than this through this video, I'll have evidence of, you know, what it looks like. If the CRC isn't good enough, then I'll put some anti-seize on there, but I'm thinking the CRC should be good enough. I thought about white lithium, very thin coat of the anti-seize. I think I'm just gonna go with a little bit of the A-Bomb Aftershave CRC 336. It's a lubricant and a rust inhibitor. I use this all over the homestead here. The bed and the moving parts on the log splitter. I got a little bit sprayed all up on the wood chipper. Mating surfaces of the front end loader here. I use this stuff all over, so I have no reason to doubt it. And I think it'll be such a thin film that my concern was about getting tightness with a thick layer of something. Even a thin layer of anti-seize is still thick. As far as tightening things up. So I think a little film of this stuff will be aces. Leave a comment. Tell me how the wheel's going to fall off. Well, I'm sure I'm going to get 50 comments about how the wheel's going to fall off anyway, but leave a comment. Oh, your kids are going to stub their toes because you've used that. I'm hoping this is as satisfying as I think it's going to be. Enough to bring you guys over. Oh, yeah. So as you can see, I put it a little JD green on the outside and the inside here. I tried to maintain clean mating surfaces, even on the inside lip there. So that's, this is clean, on the inside's clean. Nice, it looks good. So that was, the point of this is, what? I put the JD green on when it started to rain, and then just brought them into the shed here to dry off. It's more important to get the camera set up out of the rain than it was to capture. I mean, honestly, do you really need to see me spray painting something? If you need to see a grown man spray painting something, go to New York or Seattle and just hang out by the subway. Here's what's going to be different from perhaps others or not. Like I like saying on this channel, my tractor, my yard, my house. I am putting a wee bit of Loctite Blue, the 242 removable stuff, on here because you never know, you know? I don't think that's a very good sentence, but you never know. And I'd like to not have to use heat to get this off, so I'm using blue Loctite. Now I am still gonna check them. It's not a set and forget thing because we know the things loosen up. It says specifically on there, do not use a gun to put them on. I'm just tightening up, and then we'll come back across with the torque wrench. Oh, could you imagine all that anti-seize around? Oh my God, it'd be on your shirt. It's fine stuff and all, but my goodness, does it make a mess. 70 pounds, let's do this. Cool. Cool, so we set it down briefly. Didn't break the axle off like most people on the internet would have you believe. do the other side. As far as the installation went on that side, you know, the instructions, use that term loosely, the paperwork that came with it said all surfaces should be cleared of paint. I thought it was an interesting comment, and I kind of kept the paint on there. And with tightening those set of lugs onto the spacers themselves, the lips, the male portion of the spacer does kind of shave off the paint that's on there. So they weren't messing around. It's not quite an interference fit, like really having to mash it on there, but you could see when torquing to 70 foot-pounds, you were really taking it up. You weren't just tightening it, you were physically moving it. So when they say like recheck it in a couple hours, I would highly suggest that. I'm probably gonna do a couple passes up and down the driveway when we're done and then recheck them as things kind of settle in. But you could see that. Would I recommend you shaving the paint off of the inside? I don't think so, but it's tight. All right, so that was really easy. If you can change a tire, you can put wheel spacers on. There's really not a whole lot to it, especially if you get the aluminum ones that already come pre-anodized. You don't have to do any sort of paint or prep work. They're just bolt on. It's not even a half a day project. It's, I don't know, an hour project. It's really quick. The hardest part on this one is opening your wallet. So there's a couple points that I don't know if I did in the VO, so I might as well talk about them now. The first question that comes up, and I don't have an answer to, is will X size wheel spacers work with X size mower deck? I don't know, and I didn't do my notoriously nerdy research on it because I don't mow with the 2025. I don't even own a deck for the 2025, so I can't answer your questions there. I don't know. I encourage you to reach out to Deere or Bora. They were super helpful, and I can't imagine they wouldn't be for you. Sorry. The second thing, it's the big elephant in the room, and this is my thoughts on it. The axles. Is it going to put more stress on your axles? In my research, you have two very, very distinct categories. The first category is I've had my Bora wheel spacers, or I had my wheel spacers on for 20 million hours, and I've never had an issue. It's great. I don't even think about it. Cool. And then you have the other people that are like, I had my wheel spacers on for 15 minutes. I flipped the tractor over. The axle broke. I have cancer. My dog died. Listen, I don't know. I don't know what the future is going to hold for my machine on my property, but that's the key. My property isn't going anywhere. When we transition from over here on this side of the property, like the wood zone, the relatively flat side, to the chicken zone, the yard is like this. And I have to put the tractor in the very dangerous, upset, center of gravity, way over your shoulder position. There's no other way to get down there until we do some major clearing. And that's where these are coming in. I have to do something. Every time I go down that hill, I'm rolling the dice without something to help me. Yes, I have weighted tires, but they only do X amount. Increasing my footprint is going to be safer, and that's my opinion on this point. The yard isn't going anywhere. Unless you live out in Kansas or Flatland or whomever, that's not an insult, you have to do something. They are very, very tippy. We all know this. So, what are my conclusions as far as the performance? Now, while I haven't gone down on that side, because if I do, St. Patrick's Day is coming back over. I don't feel like driving like this. It's not going to work out. I did do a couple high-speed runs and low-speed runs up and down the driveway, recheck the wheel torque. Obviously, nothing happened there. But in there, I also went down to the wood zone. I went down to the wood zone. I moved some stuff around a little bit. And as the wood zone transitions into the driveway, there's a bump on an angle. You know, it was one of those spots on the driveway, even though I said this is relatively flat over here, it's not flat at all. It's just controllably flat. And the thing that I immediately noticed, and it almost feels like a nautical term, but I don't know what the nautical term is, but the tractor settled itself out a lot quicker. By the time I'm normally turning to go up the driveway, I'm still rocking back and forth. With the wheel spacers on, it was boom, transition, and then we went. And I did notice it almost immediately that it settles itself out. I guess that's what they're supposed to do. So in that regard, I am very, very happy that there has been an appreciable difference with an appreciable cost. To me, even though it's one of the last things that I'm bolting onto this, it is probably the first thing that most people should consider after running it for, I don't know, what is it, a couple of years, a year and change. I'm thankful that I haven't flipped it yet. And hopefully this extends the amount of times that I'm able to get away with saying I'm grateful that I haven't flipped it yet. My property, my tractor, I needed them, and now I have them. So I hope this assuages any questions that you have about the installation and first use process. Of course, like anything else I ever do, I'm very, very opinionated. I'm very happy with this so far, but if there's any issues, I'll report back to you guys. If you stayed this long, thank you very much for watching, and you shall be rewarded. Here's a little tip that I figured out as far as buying these. If you buy them on eBay through Bora or Motorsports Tech, they are a little bit cheaper. You could save yourself $20, $30 by buying them on eBay. Most people get that inclination, oh, it's eBay, it's a Chinese knockoff. No, it's literally Bora. Instead of buying it from their website, you're buying it from eBay, from their web store on eBay. So I believe I saved about $30 or so. If not, I'll correct it down here for buying it straight from the website. No codes, no nothing. It was just cheaper on eBay. So there's your reward. I just saved you 20 bucks if you're interested in buying these, but you had to wait to the end to get it because I just thought of it. That's why. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will catch you on the next one. Goodbye.